Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Formula Virtual Racing Championship. We're in season 15 for the 7th round of this championship, and we're going to dive straight in as we have a sprint qualifying, which means we're only doing one lap each, and it will all be at the same time. This is going to be pure chaos. The first time we've seen this was in Spain, which was the second round of this season. Now we're going to get it once again in about 22 seconds. So we're here at the Austrian Grand Prix circuit. And the driver's just getting ready to start their lap, and then let's see who ends up on pole. It will be very hard to follow this kind of qualifying, but in the end it'll just be clear for everyone. As there we are actually. The ideal way of doing this is just to follow Legend, as he's most likely to get on pole, but it could be anyone here. One name coming back to the grid, Lewis McWilliam. See what he can do today. Last week Sam Fate won the race in Imola. Of course, 2 races today with a sprint as well. Will be interesting to see who can win this one. Currently Avesta Gabadi in P1. Behind him is Legend Rosenberg in P2, and then Lewis McWilliam in the 3rd spot. Looks to be all quite close actually. So on the left hand side is the leaderboard, and it says the current positions of everyone, and it's switching continuously of course, as they're all driving at the same time. So it will be a matter of who comes across the line first to see who will take pole. Currently it is Legend Rosenberg on pole position. If he doesn't make any mistakes, looks like it will be Legend. And it's about 2/10 between Legend and Avesta. And many disqualifications actually. That's of course due to the track limits. Some people not managing to keep it within the white line. Something that we saw last week as well. In Imola, it was very, very difficult to keep it within the white lines. We saw many penalties. I believe it was possibly even the most penalties we saw. This will be a running order then for the sprint race, as we're just gonna keep continuing with the racing now. It will all just be quick action. Legend Rosenberg in P1, Avesta Gabadi will take P2. Then we have Lewis McWilliam in P3. Sam Fate with a good qualifying once again. Hopefully he can do that in the main qualifying as well. Same goes for Tim. Sam on P4, Tim on P5, Luke Davies on P6. Then we've got Niels Hardel on P7. Evan Dalton, of course, the commentator, he is in the driving seat today. He picks up P8. Then we've got Nathan Merritt in P9 and Morris Schumer to round off the top 10 for the sprint race. Looks to be dry. That is of course a good thing to begin with, although the rain is often more drama, which is more entertaining for us. But looks to be a dry session for this first one. Of course, to remind you all, in the main race we have a 2 mandatory pit stop rule. In sprint that doesn't really matter at all. You can just start on the tire that you want to start on and finish on that same tire, as we're only going to be doing 12 laps here. It will just be a matter of seconds. I think most people will choose for the medium tire, as the softs will drop off quite quickly, especially on this circuit, whereas many sharp turns which may be bad for your tires. 5 lights then, and now they're all out and we go racing. That is a good start for Legend, I wanted to say, but an even better start for Avesta. Avesta picks up P1 on the inside of turn 1. Lewis McWilliam with a little push from behind there from Sam. That's not a good start from Sam. Good start from Tim then higher. He picks up P4 at the moment. Then we've got Luke Davies in P5. Niels Hardel in P6, but this is really the turn where things can happen. Turn 3, that is. Looks like Avesta is leading. Then we've got Legend Rosenberg in P2, Lewis McWilliam in P3, Luke Davies in P4, Tim Den Higher P5. And a lot of fights here actually. Tim Den Hire on the inside of Luke Davies there, but he couldn't manage to complete the move. It was a little bit of an optimistic move, you could say, but he keeps it behind and he keeps it clean. Good start for both the Red Bulls. Really needing those points. Red Bull currently on 115 points, only 2 points behind the leading team. Regardless of that matter, they're currently in third place. P1 and P2, Aston Martin and Williams on equal points. Escabadi sets the fastest lap time here for lap 1. And immediately we have DRS enabled. Looks like Legend Rosenberg has opted for the hard tire. Let's actually see who has picked up which tire. That is indeed Legend Rosenberg on the hards. Everyone else is on the medium tire. It's an interesting choice that from Legend. I need to disable this and put on that to make it a little bit easier to follow. Oh, and there's 2 cars off the track there in the background. That is Borbune, and I believe that was someone else involved as well. I believe that was Nicholas involved, but surely for Borbune that is really a bad start to things. Of course, he still has the main race to go after this one, and a new qualifying session will come. That is Lewis McWilliam past Legend Rosenberg then. Legend, well, obviously just play it safe and wait till the tires will drop off of the guys ahead of him, but now he'll just have to manage and make sure he doesn't fall back the order. Of course, Legend will know how to deal with that. Let's see how Evan is doing. Oh, and there's a retirement. Yatin and Borbune both retired in the pits, I believe. Yatin actually out of the session as well. Does he know that we have one more race to go after this? Surely hope so. Let's check in with Evan then. He's currently in P10. His teammate is currently leading the race actually. Lewis McWilliam is in P1. Driving for the Scuderia Ferrari then. Looks like it's all quite a calm race so far in terms of the FVR standards. Doesn't mean it doesn't get very close though. That is Dylan McClevens very close to Tim Den Hire. Can he make a move here into turn 9? Circuit of course known to have the fewest turns out of any. Only 10. Could be Dylan McClemens then across the line. Can he overtake Tim Den Hire? No, but he sets the fastest lap time on 1:05.3, which is immediately quite fast. Tim Den Hire struggling to keep with the pace, although he is currently still within DRS. That is the move from Dylan. Oh, almost touching Luke there. Can the two McLarens make a move on the same time? Doesn't look like it. Tim actually defending really well here. If he can keep it around the outside of Dylan, that would mean he has done the job. And he has, because he's still in P5. Dylan McClemens not managing to overtake him just yet. Currently sits in P6, but he will want to make a move quickly. Maybe even sooner than most of them would have thought. Tim fighting back though. Keeping it on the inside there. And retaining his 5th position. Then we've got Sam Fate battling a little bit with Nathan Marriott, who picked up a podium spot as well last week. Nathan once again P3, a back-to-back one, as he picked up one as well in Monaco. Of course, Sam Fate, he won the race last week, so there's always a bigger fish. Oh, and that is almost Sam Fate across the track there, but he keeps it well. Means that Tim Den Hire can get back at him, but perhaps he has more overspeed here to make a move around the outside. Sam Fate, can he keep it on the outside? No, he can't. That is Tim Den Hire defending well for his 6th position as Dylan McClemens overtook him. Now Tim has a little bit of a problem. He's almost out of the 1 second gap that is required to be within if you want to profit from the DRS. He's now officially out of that 1 second, which means that Tim will have to look at whatever is behind. Struggling to follow the pace, Tim Den Hire. Currently it is Morris Schumer picking up a 3-second penalty. That's a shame for Morris. Hopefully he can keep it safe in the main race. Currently not a great race so far for Mercedes. In P13 and P11, once again a disappointing session so far from Juan Hernandez. I'm missing something here. Legend Rosenberg almost diving on the inside of Avesta there, making it 3 wide into turn 3. He's now on the inside of Lewis McWilliam. Can he complete the overtake? Whoa, that is Avesta suddenly blocking. That is Legend almost off the track there. And Lewis McWilliam is the big profiter of that one. Oh, Luke Davies almost on the back of Legend there. That was almost a very, very close one. Oh, and now they're making contact. Luke and Dylan. Dylan has fought back, but he's picked up a 3-second penalty. Surely that will be removed as he was in conflict with Luke. Whoa, that looked like Avesta was going off track. A lot of action suddenly here in the sprint race. Looks to be very promising for the main race then. These 5 really, really battling it out here. They seem to have the most pace out of anyone. Good thing that for Luke Davies, he seems to have picked up the pace. Many sessions this season and last season as well, where he couldn't really follow. Has said to be struggling with this game. That will be Avesta Kobadi then again on the outside of turn 3. Can he complete that move? Does look like he has a good chance of completing it. Legend Rosenberg on the inside as well. This is very, very crazy actually. 3 wide. Oh, do they actually make contact? That is... Yes, they do make contact. And now Avesta Kabadi goes off the track. And Dylan McClevens moves up into P3. This is a very hefty battle then. And it's good to see Lewis McWilliam back in it as well. Really one of those names who you usually see at the top of the leaderboard. Unless he decides to do some weird things. Oh, Legend Rosenberg almost picking up a warning then. There's a yellow flag at the back of the grid. That is Juan Hernandez in the battle with Adrian Tisci. Doesn't seem to be that big of a deal, but not great to see any yellow flags. Nathan Marriott goes into the pits. This is not something that you wish for. If you are Nathan, you want to just continue. Let's actually head back to the front then. We've got Lewis McWilliam side by side with Legend Rosenberg side by side with Dylan McClevens as well. Are we going to get 3 wide once again? Maybe even 4 wide. That looks to be Luke Davies on the inside. 2 wide in the end, and Dylan McClevens seems to be going up into P1. A little wobble there from Avesta, almost going off track. I believe he even went off track. And a little bit of contact with Luke Davies. Luke's driver is putting up his hand. He's not happy with Lewis McWilliams, his performance here. Oh, almost cutting him off there. Avesta Kabadi once again back into P4. It's anyone's game here at this point. Except for Dylan McClevens, although those 3 seconds will be removed unless he picks up another warning. Will be difficult to spot that from this position. But we can look at the race director after and see how it's performed on that statistic. Is there now a chance for Legend Rosenberg to attack and to move himself up into P1? It will be very, very difficult to move yourself out of that 1 second gap, especially when you're with 5 of these guys at the front, all having very, very similar pace at this point. Luke Davies even in P3, and Lewis McWilliam and Avesta Kabadi in P4 and P5. This looks to be very, very promising for the main race. It's just a matter of who can do the best job in qualifying. Legend Rosenberg getting very close to Dylan. Can he make a move here into turn 9? That would be mega. Doesn't look like he's going for it. Just taking it easy with the DRS then. Almost looked like Lewis got a warning there, but no penalties yet. Let's actually check in with his teammate Evan Dalton, currently in P7 in the sprint race, about to overtake Niels Hartel here for P6. That would be some great points for Ferrari. They would need those because they're currently sitting at 16. Oh, and that is Niels Hartel off the track, almost into the barrier then. As Legend Rosenberg completes the overtake on Dylan McClevens. Does he actually complete it? Yes, he does. Now ahead and leading on the hard tire. Is this the point where the medium tires are going to drop off? Is Legend Rosenberg perhaps just saving his medium for the main race as you can only get about 8 points here in this race. Legend Rosenberg could of course be saving that medium tire for the main one, but perhaps he could get an advantage of it as well in this one, as tires will eventually drop off and the medium is of course first to do so. It's just a matter of when. That is of course the question. Looks like they're all still on the pace, and then McClemens leading into lap 11. Just 2 laps to go then until we're at the end of the sprint race. Like I said earlier, it could be anyone's game. If Lewis wins this one, it wouldn't really be much of a surprise, as Lewis now on the inside of Luke Davies there for P4. Does Luke get the traction to keep with him? No, he doesn't. I think everyone's playing it quite safe with the ERS. What's happening here? Everyone is indeed playing it very safe with the ERS, especially Legend. Won't say too much about it, but Legend has plenty of ERS. We could argue, but looks like everyone is really good in terms of battery percentage. Stuff happening at the back. Sam Fate has fallen back the order since we've started this race. Let's actually look at the position change then, as we're just about to get into the last lap. Dylan McClemens, really a mega performance so far. He's climbed up 12 positions all the way from P13. If he can complete this one and pick up no more warnings, as he's still with that 3 seconds, which could later on be removed, but that's just a matter of things happening after the session. Oh, 3 wide then. Avesta Gabadi appearing on the inside there. Now ramming into Legend. Someone is damaged. I think that is Legend. Now we have 3 wide once again. Dylan McClemens touching with Avesta then. Are we gonna get 4 wide here? No, 3 wide for P2. That is Avesta across the track. Oh, and that is Dylan McClemens across the track. Legend Rosenberg across the track, and Luke Davies involved as well. And that looks like Avesta is one of the only ones to get through cleanly, although he was of course very much involved in that incident. Same goes for Lewis McWilliam. This one will get a different ending to what we're seeing here. Could Evan Dalton win the sprint race then, if he stays close enough with Avesta and Lewis? I think we are going to see some penalties then, but once again we can't really do much with that at this point. That's all just for after the session. Good race then for Evan. He picks up P3, and quite a disappointing and dramatic ending to this sprint race, as the 5 at the front were really quick, and then they had to get into a collision with each other. Dylan McClemens picks up P10 in the end. After leading for quite a while, that means he's only gotten up 3 positions, and he will certainly lose his race win in this sprint race. What's up next then? Another one of those really quick qualifying sessions, where it's just 1 lap. It's going to be very similar to what we've seen before. Driver of the day, still Dylan McClemens, despite the incident. Of course, driver of the day at this point. Not really anything special. There it is then for the current running order. I think this will change later on, but we will have to see. We've got Avesta Gabadi in P1. Lewis McWilliam picks up P2. Then we've got Evan Dalton in P3. Legend Rosenberg picks up P4. Then Niels Hardel in P5. Luke Davies picks up P6. Then P7 will be for Sam Fate. Morris Stumer to pick up P8. Then Tim Den Heyer in P9. Then we've got Dylan McClemens to round off the top 10 here in the sprint race. Of course, only points to the top 8, if I remember that correctly. And this one is actually a raining session. I'm curious to see if it's in the race as well. But for this second qualifying session of the day, another short qualifying, a one-shot qualifying, I should say. We actually do have a little bit of rain. Looks like the safety car is coming out. I don't know what he's planning to do. We're gonna get about 15 cars driving very rapidly over the circuit in a couple of seconds. You don't want to be in the way of that. It's already quite a struggle for many of these drivers to avoid any contact with another driver or any object. Do not want to add another one. There we go then. I think the best thing to do here is to follow with Legend. Currently it is Yetin in P1, but that's only a short-term thing. Sam Fate currently leading as Lewis McWilliam retires and he does not complete his lap. That means Lewis McWilliam will have to start from the back. Niels Hardel as well from the back of the grid. Then we've got Sam Fate still in P1. Let's actually follow with Sam Fate then. And let's see if we can see anything on the lap data. Perhaps we can. Currently McLaren 1-2, but that will most likely change. Although I'm not so sure about that. They seem to actually be very, very fast. It is still a McLaren 1-2 now. We finally got Legend into the top 2. Does anything change in terms of that? Oh, Sam Fate almost off the track, and Sam Fate will start at the back. He invalidates his lap. Let's actually look with Dylan McClemens, who seems to be very, very fast today. Dylan McClemens, can he claim pole position? Will it be Legend in the end? I think it will be Legend. And it will indeed be Legend, and it is very, very close, within 1/10 the top 3. Legend picks up P1, and it will be Avestakabadi in P2. Dylan McClemens to pick up P3 in the end. Only 2,000 splitting the two. And Tim Den Heijer once again with a great qualifying. He picks up P4. Let's actually look at the top 10 then. We've got Legend Rosenberg in P1, of course. Then in P2 we've got Avestakabadi. P3 will be for Dylan McClemens. Tim Den Heijer P4. Morris Tumer in P5. Luke Davies P6. Nathan Marriott in P7. Nicholas in P8. Then we've got Borbune in P9, Evan Dalton in P10. Let's actually complete the whole list. Juan Hernandez in P11, Adrian Tisci in P12, and then some people who didn't manage to complete their lap, including Sam Fate and Lewis McWilliam. Looks to be a dry then. Maybe we could see some rain later on, but that's only something we will have to find out once it comes. At the moment, it looks to be a clear sunshine on the Spielberg circuit. Now I'm curious to see what Legend has done with this tire compound. He was involved in an incident in the sprint race, of course. He has saved the medium tire. He could put that to use in this one. This stuff always taking very, very long. I don't know why, but it's just something that we have to deal with. In terms of strategy, it will most likely be medium too hard unless they can make the softs work. But I doubt they will. As there we actually go to the grid then. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and out and we go racing. Once again a good start for Avesta maybe. Can he get himself up into P1 in turn 1 again? No, he can't. This time it is Legend Rosenberg leading. And Dylan McClemens moves up into P2 around the outside there. That's a great move from Dylan. Now you need to see some action. Tim Den Heijer managing to keep himself in the top 4. And this time he doesn't have a very rapid person behind him. Oh, and that is a chain reaction of wing damage. I think Luke Davies was involved in that one. Nicholas maybe involved. Perhaps Nathan Marriott, but looked like many wings flying, and I think that is indeed Luke Davies with some wing damage. I think his left front wing end plate is gone. That could impact him quite a lot actually. Let's see how Luke can keep going then. Oh, and there's a car off track. That is Niels Hardel. He keeps it on track now, but that means he will have to come from the back once again. Started at the back, will be at the back once again. Lewis McWilliam currently up into P10, starting last place. Already making up 6 positions at the start of this race. That is Legend Rosenberg with the fastest lap then as we head into the second lap of the race. And immediately a big gap between P4 and the podium here. As Tim Nihire really can't follow the pace. Once again, Morris Schumer will be looking to make a move into P4. I think he can complete it actually. Ooh, around the outside. He can complete the move there. Then Luke Davies, flown by Nicholas. In P6, the Aston Martin driver, newcomer to the Formula Virtual Racing scene. Looks to be a promising race for him if he can keep this up. Morris Schumer with a great start as well. We don't usually see him at the front this much. Looks like he has found his spot for this race. Oh, and he's going wide there. I think that is a warning for Morris, but something he will have to keep an eye on, keeping it within the white lines. Evan Dalton, he's coming into the pits. He's gonna change something, I'm sure. Perhaps he's gonna change his wing? No, just the tires. I hope he's not furious at himself now behind his wheel. It looks like he has damage on the front right end plate. That means Evan will have to pit once again unless he can deal with this, but certainly that's not something he wished for. Luke Davies back into P6 and Morris Schumer back into P5. Well, I say that. There is Nicholas once again in P6. And Juan Hernandez now in the mix as well. Mercedes can get a lot of points here today if they can keep their cars on track and keep their cars within the white lines and not do much crazy stuff. At the moment, P5 and P8 for the both of them. And then we've got Dylan McClemens setting a fastest lap time here. Currently in P1 again. Legend really seems to have a great competitor here in the name of Dylan McClemens. As actually look at the tire sets that everyone has chosen for to start this race on. We've got many people running the medium strategy. Everyone up to P8. As Juan Hernandez has gone for the soft tire. Of course, unsurprisingly, that is Lewis McWilliam on the hard tire. He started at the back and he's already gaining many spots. He's currently in P8. And we've got Morris Schumer in P4 again. Already a big gap though between him and Avesta Gabati. 5 seconds that is already. And I'm quite sure that gap is only going to grow unless we get a safety car in this race. A late safety car could potentially put anyone back into the race, anyone from P4 and below that. That is Legend Rosenberg then, once again with a move for P1 as we're watching on board with Legend. Overtaking Dylan McClemens into turn 3. Are we gonna see some crazy stuff again this race? That is of course the question. More points being given to any driver that finishes within the top 10. A total of 22 points for anyone who finishes on the top step. As Niels Hardel picks up 3-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits. Oh, Legend disconnect. Whoa, that is a big one. That is a massive one. Is he already back into the session then? Or has the AI taken over? Oh, that is the AI taken over. That is Legend Rosenberg still out of the session. That will be a difficult one then. As Avesta Gabati moves back up into P1, overtaking Dylan McClemens. This could actually be quite a problem then for Legend. Started off with a perfect streak this season. Couldn't attend the race in Monaco. Was there last week but made a mistake with the rules. That indicates how many stops we need to do this race. The 2-stop rule, of course. Made a mistake with that and ending up in P4. Now he will see another struggle. Is he back into the session then? That is the question. He remains to be on the inside of Tim. Will he defend that? No, he won't. He's still in the AI mode. Of course, the AI keeping him on the track for some time, but now looks like he's definitely falling back the order. I believe Morris Tumor even picked up some damage on that. Doesn't look like he has much damage, but that's certainly not the ideal way to go. And Legend really struggling with it. Can he get back into the session? Is he even thinking of getting back into the session? Of course, that is a good question. But I mean, there's still plenty to fight for. He's in P9 as Juan Hernandez is now opting for the let's leave the session option as well. I'm sure they don't do it on purpose, but a little disconnect could ruin their race. Lewis McWilliam has fought back into the top 4. He's currently attacking Tim and higher for that P3 then, as Legend has fallen out of the top 3. And on the hard tire, he still has quite a good chance at winning this race. Of course, we're in a very early stage, but with a gap of 6.5 seconds to the front 2, you really need to work on the pace, especially on a DRS circuit like this. Using the DRS to drive away very easily. As Lewis McWilliam completes his move into P3. And now he needs to look forward and try and see if he can get himself back into the P3, top 2, sorry. That is Tim Den Hire almost going horizontally across the track. Struggling to keep his car under the ABS. Of course he doesn't drive with ABS. Because otherwise he wouldn't have gone into that turn in such a way. That's what I wanted to say. Your running order then as we move up into P9. Almost a quarter done of this race. Dylan McClemens leads with Avesta Gbadi in P2. And we've got Lewis McWilliam in P3. Tim Den Hire in P4. Then we've got Luke Davies, who does seem to have damage. P5 for him. Morris Tumor in P6. Sam Fate P7. Looking to make a move here. Oh, that is a double overtake on Luke Davies. He goes from P5 to P7 in one turn. That is Morris Tumor completing an overtake, as well as Sam Fate. Not in P7 then, Sam Fate, but currently in P6. Also on the hard tires. Same strategy as Lewis McWilliam so far. And can he make a move on Morris Tumor? He does have more natural pace. So you would think that Sam Fate is the favorite to be ahead in 2 laps time. We've got Nicholas Prada, P8. Adrian Tisci actually in P9. That's a good effort from Adrian so far. And Legend in P10. I believe Legend is still disconnected. Doesn't look like he's driving very fast. Certainly he isn't driving very fast. And then we have Juan Hernandez in P11, Nathan Merritt in P12, Evan Dalton currently in P13 as the moment we switch to his onboard camera he picks up a 3-second penalty. That is a shame for Evan. Had a good race in the sprint, but it's not meant to be in this one so far. Luke Davies just gone into the pits to get himself a new wing, new front wing. Replacing the damage that he had, and now in P12 on a new set of mediums. As the first to stop in this race, I believe. Incorrect. Evan, Nils and Borbune have all pitted before. Same as Nathan Marriott. I need to get my facts right. But so far it seems to be a very calm race, apart from, of course, the Legend disconnect. I'm curious to see what Lewis McWilliam can do to the front guys, although Tim Hire seems to be sticking up with him quite well currently. Of course, DRS very overpowered in this game, especially on a track like this, where we have 3 different DRS zones. It's very easy to stay with the driver ahead, and it's very hard to get away and to get the driver behind out of that 1 second. Which is exactly what Lewis will have to do here. Of course, he's on the hard tire, so naturally we would see Tim Den Hire pitting earlier than Lewis. But if I was Tim, I would just stretch this stint for as long as possible, try and stay within the DRS. And see how far you can get. Because you're currently in a safe position. There's a car off track. It is not Legend. It is a Mercedes. It is Juan Hernandez, who was... is it Juan? I think it was Morris, actually. Morris Tumor off track. Morris cutting the pit line there. Not entirely sure if that's allowed. But... Morris Tumor into the pits then. Switching to a new set of mediums. Of course, 2 mandatory pit stop rule in this championship. This season. The 15th season of Formula Virtual Racing. So everyone who has pit before needs to pit again. I think it will just be a stretch to whenever a safety car comes, if one comes, and if that's not the case, then many people will obviously pit in the last 4 laps, I believe so. There we have it then. Dylan McClemens comes into the pits as the first one to do so of the leading guys. And he will switch to a hard set. Quick stop there from Dylan. Which means that Avesta Gabadi will lead the race then. That is a very crucial moment in this race. Because this offers a great chance to Lewis McWilliam to close the gap in at least a little bit. As Avesta now has no profit from that DRS. Tim Den Hire almost falling out of that 1 second delta. That is Tim Den Hire out of the 1 second delta. I'm sure. No, I'm not actually sure. I'm sure he doesn't have DRS. Tim Den Hire is currently out of DRS to Lewis McWilliam. In the meantime, his teammate into the pits, Avesta Gabadi, switching to a set of mediums then, as Dylan has gone for the hards. This is an interesting one. It's now the front 2 are on 2 different strategies. I think Legend's still not back into the session. That means Sam Fade is currently in P3. Let's see if we can get any information on that. Aha. Well, I can look and hopefully get them in. Although I'm not sure I have them added. Yeah, well, I can't manage to fix that now. And it's probably already too late as well. That's a real shame. As now we've got Sam Fate making an overtake on Yatin for putting him a lap down. We've seen some great performances so far this season from Yetten, but this one is a difficult one for him. See if I can invite Legend. Means we won't have any comms at the moment, but if that means we can get someone back, then surely we want that to happen. As we're about to get halfway in, it is currently Lewis McWilliam leading the race. Then we've got Dylan McClements in P2, which is now Vasa Gabadi in P2. And in P3 then Dylan McClements. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to get some people back into the race. As of course there's no one else who can invite them at this point. Quite a difficult thing then, and I don't know if I can find him. Don't think I have his other account added, which means that it will be very difficult to get Legend back into this session. Hopefully he can get himself into this, but yeah, well, don't think I can add him here, can I? Perhaps I can. In the meantime, let's actually look at the amount of stops that everyone has done. Currently it is Lewis McWilliam only person to not have stopped in the top 10, as he just comes into the pits then. As Lewis comes out in P4, of course, just went into the pits as we were talking about the stops. Looks like everyone on the track has pit at least once now, which is of course a good thing. Let's actually look at the position change. Good race so far for, of course, Lewis McWilliam and Sam Fate. Terrible race for Legend, but we know why. And it doesn't look like we can get him back into the session, unfortunately. We're across the halfway mark then in lap 20. There seems to be a 13-second gap between P3 and P2. No idea where that came from, but it is just what it is. It looks like everything is quite stable at the moment in terms of everyone who is still driving. Everyone is involved in their own battles, but there's no big drama so far. Perhaps we could see that coming towards the end of this race. Now we've got Avestegabali back into P1 with an overtake in turn 2 there. Which is practically, of course, a straight, but... that is another 3 seconds for Niels Hardel. That is unfortunate. So we have 15 laps to go until we will see the finish flag in this 7th round of the season. Let's actually run you through the order in the terms of the Drivers' Championship. This could be a great day then for Avestegabali. Currently on 69 points, whereas Legend Rosenberg is on 115. Could be a crucial one as well for Avesta, having to win this one if he really wants to make a good chance at winning this title. Once again, I have to mention, this is a very quiet stage in this race. Not much happening. Looks like everyone is just preparing to perhaps make a move in the last couple of laps, or just continuing the race as it goes. Looks like Lewis McWilliam, the odd one out there. Red Bull and McLaren having both cars in the top 5. In terms of constructors then for McLaren, they're in P4 on 95 points. They could possibly, if I say this right, overtake Williams today, if they really get a good one. At the moment they would pick up 32 points. Whereas Williams would only pick up 8. I'm not saying that right, am I? I believe McLaren pick up a little bit less points, but not too sure. And if I'm being really honest, as there's blue flags everywhere. It looks like Yatin is of course on the lap behind. Legend also lapped. If I'm right. I'm not actually. That is Evan. Oh yeah, he is lapped. Surely he's lapped. Evan just overtook Legend, which means Legend is a lap down. Difficult one for Evan so far. He's currently in P11. That rhymes perfectly. With a penalty as well. If he really needs, if he really wants to get any points. There would need to be a safety car later on, but even then with the 3-second penalty it would get very difficult. Nathan Merritt, a little bit of a calm race for him, currently in P10, last of the people to pick up any points in this race if it finishes like this. And he's kind of in no man's land at the moment, not having one single car around him at any point really. As we have a little swap again, that is Avesta Gabadi back into P1 and Dylan McClements into P2. Of course, still one more mandatory pit stop for everyone, which could spice things up lately in the race. Later on in the race, of course. Good race for Morris as well. He's currently in P6. He's fighting off Luke Davies and Nicolas Prada. If he can keep it like this and keep it within the white lines. He struggled with that the previous race. Of course, both in Imola and in the sprint as well. Is that Luke Davies into the pits? I believe that is Luke Davies into the pits. And I think that is the first driver in the top 10 to complete the mandatory pit stops. If I'm being very honest, I'm quite confused by the graphic here, although we haven't seen any safety cars. So this seems to be a clear one given, and Luke Davies will come out just behind Nathan Merritt, who has already done 2 stops. So to clear things up then, we've got 5 people at the moment who have completed their mandatory stops. Doesn't mean that they don't have to stop later on, because if their car or tires can't manage to go to the end, they probably have to stop once more. As we see Luke Davies on the inside, then Lewis McWilliam also into the pits. So 6 people who have completed the mandatory pit stops at the moment, which are Lewis McWilliam, Luke Davies, then we've got Nathan Merritt, Bob Bume, Adrian Tishy and Nils Hardel. Those are your names who have completed the 2 stop mandatory rule, whatever it is. And where will Lewis come out? I think he has a massive gap to the drivers behind, being Luke Davies and Nathan Merritt. As it's quite close here at the front actually. Look at this battle between Dylan McClements and Avesta. Only 9 laps to go. I think we will have a little bit more of good drama towards the end. Of course, remember, both of these guys need to come into the pits once more. Oh, that was almost Avesta into the wall there. Greatly kept there out of the wall from Avesta. I think that is Legend on the right, but the battle will be between these two, Dylan McClements and Avesta Gabadi, for the win. One that Avesta very, very much needs, and one that Dylan would quite happily add to his list of trophies. So now there's some stuff happening. I'm quite confused. Nicholas into P3, then we've got Morris Schumer in P4. Looks like these guys all come out of the pits. That is Tim Denhire, Sam Fate, And of course Niels Hardel. Where does that put Lewis? Of course, most likely will be that he will finish P3, but oh, there's the big, the first one, the big move I wanted to say. That is the first one to come into the pits. Avesagabadi will go for the soft tire. How does Dylan McClements respond to this one? Because now he's going to be getting massively undercut. He can't stay out. He still needs to stop. He's currently on 16 lap old hards. And where is Lewis in all of that? He's currently 8 seconds behind on his set of mediums. Mind you, this set only 2 laps old. How does Dylan respond to this? Gap currently 17.7. I'm sure he will come up behind Avesta if that is what he does. Does he go in? He does go in. That is Dylan McClements into the pits then. 17.1 seconds. Look at the left hand side. We're going to look with Avesta. Where is Avesta in all of this? Where is Dylan? Dylan just coming into the pits now. Changing tires. 1, 2. Going to the soft as well. And that is a green light for Dylan. Then Avesta coming on to the straight. The finish straight. And he will certainly get out ahead of Dylan. Just how big is the gap? That is the question. Looks like Dylan is just behind, but out of the 1 second. If Avesta can keep up the pace now, he has that race win secured. If of course there is no safety cars towards the end, but no need to stop. At least for these two, they can just continue and go to the end. 7 more laps, including this one, 6.5 then. And then we will know who has won this 7th round of the 15th season. A lot of blue flags here actually, that is quite annoying. Not for me, but of course for the drivers. Stimden higher in P5. I think I missed the point where he got a penalty. I hope it's not a big penalty. He got 10 seconds. Perhaps that is a speeding in the pit lane penalty, which he could get removed, or just any penalty that he could get removed. But at least he has 10 seconds added to his name at the end of this session. Even if it's only the provisional results. We'll keep an eye on it. That will be Tim the Higher then, moving back up into P4 as he overtakes Sam Fate. Can Sam make a move once again into turn 4? Did I just say turn 4? This was turn 3. This will be turn 4 and Sam Fate will re-overtake and take over P4. How are they in the race in terms of ERS? Looks like Sam Fate has more ERS. That's all we will say here. And can Dylan McClements close the gap? He will get DRS here off of Evan. Cheeky move that, but of course understanding Evan's position, he wants to promote the league as much as possible. So a cheeky little move like this could perhaps do that. As we will have Dylan McClements within the 1 second, as we have just under 5 laps to go. We're in lap 32 of 36, and we're about to get some more drama towards the end of this race. Definitely not saying it's Evan doing that on purpose, by the way, but as it's my job to spice things up a little bit, it's not a weird thing to say. They're within 1/10 now, Tinder McClements and Avesta Gabadi. How will this battle end? That is of course a great question. Dylan McClemens taking over P1 then into turn 1. That's a very perhaps a little bit of a weird move, but we won't judge that. Dylan knows what he's doing, certainly. Same goes for Avesta. Speaking to us earlier last year, and this year as well. I'm saying year, but of course last season and this season. He mentioned that he wasn't planning on holding back in any moves. He wasn't planning on keeping it calm in any circumstance. And if he needs to fight for it, he will. That is the words that he spoke. Not in the way I just did, but in a different way. But I can't just read out that whole story that he put up. But regardless of that matter, we are in the last 3 laps of this race. It will be a sprint towards the end. Both drivers on a new set of softs, and no more chances of a safety car then. It was a full 36 laps without a yellow flag, without the safety car coming out on track. I just said without a yellow flag. We've seen some yellow flags, surely. We saw Niels Hardel off the track at the start of this race. But it looks like it all has been kept clean throughout this one, and we will not see any more safety cars. It will just be Dylan McClemens versus Avesta Gabadi for these last 3 laps, almost last 2 laps, to see who can win this one. Let's hope it doesn't end in bad contact once again, like we saw last time. An unfortunate ending for many of these people involved. And surely there will be some action taken on that behind the scenes. Will Avesta Gabadi go for the move here then on the penultimate lap? I don't think he will. Lap 35 out of 36. Dylan McClemens currently still leading, but it's just a matter of waiting when Avesta Gabadi decides to strike. He doesn't even open the DRS here. It seems like he is just saving his options. Oh, and a little bit of a lock up there for Dylan into turn 4. Every little mistake counts now. You really want to maximize the performance out of your car and defend as good as possible. That is what he needs to do in the last lap. Dylan McClemens leading lap 35. Will he lead the next time he comes round this circuit? As we have one more lap to go. As Dylan McClemens comes on to the finish straight line and comes across the starting line for the last time. Next time it will be the black and white checkered flag. When will Avesta go for a move? Is it into turn 3? It looks like it will be Avesta into turn 3. That is a very clean overtake there from Avesta. Now we need to look at turn 4. What can Dylan do? Can Dylan re-overtake? Little bit of late braking there from Avesta. It looks like he can continue. What can Dylan do here? How much is Avesta going to defend from this? Can Dylan make a move around the outside? Oh, and a switch back to the inside. Whoa, that is a really great move from Dylan. And that is 3 seconds added to Avesta's what am I trying to say? To Avesta's race here, race time, and it looks like it will be Dylan McClemens then to win this race. That was a magic move there from Dylan into turn 4. It's a shame I couldn't scream at the top of my lungs, but if I had the chance, I would have certainly done it. That is Dylan McClemens then winning this race. Avesta Gabadi finishes 3.5 seconds behind him as he picked up a 3-second penalty. Then it is Lewis McWilliam to come across the line in 3rd place. Sam Fate with another great performance. Won last race, will pick up P4 today. As we see an Alpine going horizontally across the track. Tim then higher with a good race as well. Picks up P5. Will fall down a little bit as he has that penalty, but I'm sure that will be fixed behind the scenes. If anything, it will all just go fair. So at this point, we will have to say is Luke Davies in P5. Another great race from Nathan. A little bit under the radar once again, but he picks up P6. Then Tim Higher eventually picking up P7. Norris Tumor pick up P8. Great race from him. And the rest will follow shortly. But it is Dylan McClemens to pick up the race win with a massively underrated move there in the last lap. Dare I say massively underrated? I meant just a great move. That's what he did. And he picks up that P1 trophy then. Dylan McClemens. For his first win of the season. Not picked up many points so far. Only one podium. That was in Zandvoort. Where he got a P2 and a P6 and P6. Yes, in Spain. And a P7 in Las Vegas. There it is then. It's a little bit mixed up, but I will try to make the most of it. Dylan McClemens picks up the one in the main race. Then it is Avesticabadi with P2 in this main race. Then it is Lewis McWilliams, Sam Fate. Then we've got Luke Davies. Then we've got Nathan Marriott. Then we've got Timden Higher. Next up is Morris Schumann to round off the top 10 are Nicolas Prada and Bort Bune. Let's see if we can get any interviews in, but I doubt it, as everyone who has finished in the top 3, I don't think they're on the PlayStation. Except for Lewis. Dylan is not on. Yeah, no. Let's actually see if we can get something in here. I think that will be it then for today. We've seen some exciting action once again, and we will next week will be the Singaporean Grand Prix for the 8th round of this championship, and it is certainly not over yet. Avesticabadi picks up P2 then today in the main race. It looked like he picked up a total of 27 points. That will be a little bit less than that, but he will move up some points in the championship, that is sure. We will see that and the calculations done later on the socials. Make sure to follow the socials of Formula Virtual Racing, as well as this YouTube page. And we will see you next week once again with some racing action. Thanks for everyone watching at home. And we surely hope to see you again next week. Bye bye.